Olympic cycle, as we also be looking forward to LA 2028. What is their goals as well as their dreams as far as the Olympics are also concerned, and also reflect to the incredible 2024 year that we also had? And in studio I'm joined by the Chief Executive Officer of Botswana Olympic Committee, Ms. Dorothy Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe, alongside Bnoc Programs Manager, that is Obake Ngwigwa. Ms. Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe, very good afternoon. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Good afternoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Obi, let me also take this time to welcome you to Botswana Connects.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Right. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe, Chief Executive Officer of Botswana National Olympic Committee. You assumed office just last year in July. How has been the journey for you so far?
The journey has been remarkable. I joined Bnoc at a time when we were preparing for going to the Olympics, and so that was a hectic year. But I'm glad to say that we went to Paris. We came back successful, and also we were able to bring back home medals, 2 medals for 200 meters by Litsile Tebogo and 4x4 by the relay team.
Right. The year 2024 will forever be etched in the hearts and minds of Botswana as a historic and triumphant chapter in the nation's history, looking at the monumental moments that you've just mentioned. And I want to just hear from you, what inspiration do you draw from these monumental moments as you lay a strong foundation for the future as the Chief Executive Officer of Bnoc?
Okay. I think the foundations that we can build, or maybe the lessons that we have learned from 2024, is that we have in Botswana. Oh God, sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
We have in Botswana.
Well, I'll come back to you, Ms. Gaseitsiwe, as you also prepare those points for us. Let me just introduce PK, because you've been there and as the programs manager. Let's look at the year 2024 and some of the programs that you had that you think would say has aided us to achieve such milestones that we achieved in the previous Olympic cycle.
Yeah. Thank you once again. Okay, from the beginning of the quadrennial, we have what we call a Olympic Solidarity Scholarship. So these scholarships were offered from the beginning of the quadrennial up until the end of the quadrennial, which was 2024. We have what we call Olympic Solidarity Scholarships, which we access from the International Olympic Committee.
Yes.
So some of the programs that really contributed to our success at the 2024 Games was these scholarships. We were able to enroll 13 athletes from 5 different sporting codes in the Olympic Solidarity Scholarships. We were also able to enroll some of them in the Continental Scholarship. And these scholarships really helped us in preparing the teams for the Games.
Right.
But not only the Olympic Games were our success in the year 2024, we also have some other programs which contributed to the organizational success, like the Olympic Day celebration, where we were spreading the Olympic values throughout the communities and throughout schools in the country. We also have some of the supporting programs like advanced sports management courses, which we were, rolling them out to our national federations. We also have sports administration courses. We also had a Sport for Life program, which we used to reach out to the community. So those are some of the achievements which we were able to attain for in the year 2024.
Right. If I come back to Ms. Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe, just break it down for us in terms of the Olympic Solidarity Scholarship or funding. Let's get to understand it a little bit for someone maybe who is hearing it for the very first time. Who receives this funding and how?
Yeah. The funding actually is meant for the athletes. Yeah, it goes specifically to the athletes. Normally what the Olympic Solidarity does, it calls for expression of interest for national Olympic committees to send the potential athletes. Those are medal prospects, those are podium finish potentials. Yeah, so they request us to send those athletes. And our part as the NOC, we request the list from the national federations to send the potential athletes, and we send to the Olympic Solidarity, and together with the international federations, they do the vetting and award scholarships. So these scholarships, like I mentioned before, they are meant to prepare for the next games. You are enrolled for 4 years. Maybe something which I didn't also mention, coming along with this scholarship, there's also continental scholarship, of which we can use to allocate those athletes who did not make the cut for the Olympics scholarship. We submit a long list, and there are those who don't make it, and we enroll them to the continental scholarship. Then on top of that, with that scholarship, we are also able to pay coaches who coach these athletes. And these athletes are also able to access international competitions. Train outside, we pay for their accommodation, we pay for their coach. Some of them, we pay their needs, their welfare locally. We pay their rentals, as well as pocket money to survive.
Right. Back to you, Ms. Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe. You assumed office just after Dorothy Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe, who was the acting CEO by then, who also assumed office from Mabayendi, that is in 2023, yes. And I just want to hear from you, what are your key priorities as the new CEO of Botswana National Olympic Committee as you also start this year 2025?
Thank you very much. As you know, my predecessors were able to work with the board and also work with the management team, and also work with the different federations, to work with the different federations to be able to successfully send the team to Paris. Given that we have finished the strategic plan that we had, we are in the process of building a new strategic plan that is going to take us to 2028. But I want to say that we have been able to do the work that we have done with my predecessors, Mabayendi Akaubua, Lema Kisupile. And the success that we have had is because we had support from the government of Botswana in terms of funding. As you know, Bnoc is currently funded by predominantly government of Botswana in terms of our subvention, and also funding for us to be able to take the team to the different games that we are able to go to.
Right. A lot of success stories there, but if there's one critical issue that has been there or has been topical, is that of anti-doping, and they had anti-doping programs which include education, testing programs, and still we experience this issue of doping. Over 50 local athletes have been banned for doping violations. How are you going to address this issue? I may assume that is also one of your key top priorities in that strategic play.
Yes. When we are going into planning for 2025, 2028 quadrennial, one of the things that we have to emphasize is the need for us to educate, and also to make sure that the federations, we cascade down to the federations, the education that is important for for anti-doping. As you know, there is a anti-doping agency that is currently working with different federations, cascading the training that has to happen. The most important thing is that the athletes have to know and also accommodate the need for them to know what is it that they are taking, take care of themselves, take care of their bodies, and also be very careful in terms of different medications or maybe different health substances that they're taking.
Right.
So that is the most important thing: education, education, and education.
Right. What are some of the flagship programs also that you have in this Olympic cycle or quadrennial OB? Looking at the fact that you are now planning ahead, and this time around you are looking at LA28 as BNOC. In terms of some of the programs.
Thank you for that question. Actually, it's very important. This year, this quadrennial is going to be a very busy one for the BNOC. Just this year, African Youth Games that will be held in Luanda, Angola in December. If you remember, African Youth Games, kid games are under 18. So we are going to have to rely mostly from school talent, school sports. That's where it's going to come in. Then next year we also have Youth Olympic Games. This is the same age as Africa Youth Games. And then we also have the Commonwealth Youth Games, the Commonwealth Games in 2026 still. Then Africa Beach Games 2027, then LA 2028. So the way I've mentioned these games, we are going to use them as a pathway to the main games, which are the Olympic Games LA 2028. Our plan, with this Africa Youth Games, if we can identify athletes, 18, 16, 17, 18, and then maybe hopefully some of them will be able to carry them to Dakar 2026 Youth Olympic Games, and then ultimately to the Commonwealth Games in 2026. Then the same athletes who also now by 2026 get 22 graduating from 18, and then drive them to LA 2028. So we have already sent out expression of interest to national federations to send us their low list for all these games that I've mentioned, starting at 2025 all the way to 2028. And we are also working on a plan, what we call the Road to LA 2028 plan, whereby we'll be aligning the game to prepare for LA 2028. We are also looking at tapping into the championship, like Body World Championship, Body African Games, Body World Beach Games, Body African Beach Games, a pathway, a way of preparing and identifying more talent to LA 2028. How can level like 2024? As the CEO has mentioned, we achieved 2 medals, and on top of that, we also had 2 finalists, which was Litsi Lemo 100 meters, then Tsepiso Masal Lemo 800 meters. So with this pathway that I've mentioned, our aim is to do better than how we did in Paris, and we are hoping to get more podium finish. As the CEO also mentioned, we are working on a strategy of which our medal target as the NOC. Since nearly 2 in the previous games, 2024, how much can we, how many medals can we get in LA 2028? And preparation and taking care of our athletes and taking advantage of those scholarships that I've mentioned is going to play a role.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the 2020 or this financial year, that is the budget speech that was presented by the Vice President of the country is also the Minister of Finance, Mr. Ndaba. Yes, it did not speak specifically to sport in details, and funding is a very critical issue also when it comes to sport. We're talking about preparing for these events. Funding has to come home. And from this budget speech, and you are hoping for, in terms of funding, Bnoc, that strategic plan.
We have been working with the ministry, as you know, that we have a Ministry of Sports and Arts. Listening to the budget speech, yes, I was a little bit disappointed because I expected to have the minister speaking specifically about sports, because I do believe that the ministry that is handling sports is the reason why they decided to have a dedicated ministry was the realization that this is an important a ministry to have. But having said that, I do remember that in the budget speech, the Vice President did talk about the national funds for funds, national funds for funds.
Yeah.
He talked about it, relating it more to arts, but I also believe that maybe this is an area that we can tap on. Just recently, we were having a Ministry of Sports and Arts on a strategy plan, a strategy plan development, at which I was comforted to know that there is the intention to look at that ministry and also, look at opportunities that are there in the country in terms of funding, looking for funds from the from the private sector, and also looking for funds from other international organizations that the ministry can work with. And as I know that in terms of our side, we are working. We have in the past, in 2024, we worked with different partners. We worked with we built a partnership with the private sector, Okavango Diamond Company, which funded us around 500,000 pula to support preparations for the games. So these are the kind of relationship that we believe we can build on and move forward with it, and so that we can be able to build a foundation to move into 2028 quadrennial.
OBK, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us with regards to your position at Bnoc, the programs tse le gore gongwe re ntse le tla ka tsone go leka go improve ha ile gore ntse re le teng?
As I've mentioned, mentioned it before.
Yes.
But some other programs our national federations can benefit from. If a national federation benefits, it transfers the benefit transfers to an athlete. So the coaching courses, of which we want to empower our national federations coaches, whereby achieve a higher level of coaches, so they can transfer the knowledge and skills into improving our athletes. We also have what we call Olympic Values Education Program. Where Tabonre roll out it's upcoming, I think next month. So one of the programs is then where we try to reach the community. We try to spread the Olympic values through. We also have, as I've mentioned, both sports admin courses and advanced sports management courses, and those are the programs then we share with our national federations to empower them. And like I said, the knowledge ultimately transfers to the athletes, and success here, our athletes, is one of our contributes to the success of the National Olympic Committee.
Right. May Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe, your parting shots?
I can just say that we are looking forward to creating partnerships with the different entities, particularly the private sector, because I think they should come on board and work with us so that we can begin now to develop the athletes that we are going to be taking to 2028, and also making sure that we have a podium finish that is much more than the two podium finish that we had this in the last year, in 2024.
Right. Mayor Tlagae, thank you so much, rather Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe, thank you so much for your time, and hoping to see more from your office. Just under 7 months in office, hoping to see more, and hoping that this year will also be filled with a lot of breakthroughs, victories, and transformative milestones that will be redefining the national identity of Botswana as well as setting the stage for the future.
Thank you very much.
OBK, thank you so much for your time. We'll catch up some other time.
Thank you for having us.
Right. That is the Chief Executive Officer of Botswana National Olympic Committee, that is Mayor Dorothy Tlagae-Gaseitsiwe, talking to us about their plans for this quadrennial, as well as some other programs that they have lined up as Botswana National Olympic Committee, alongside the programs manager at Bnoc, that is Obakeng Gwigwa. So with that, we come to the end of our conversation. We're taking a short break. When we return, the news at the top of the hour. Do stay with us.
Video e circulate mo social media. Isu pa